This is the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from the Omni Frisco at the Star.
And the X is going up again.
Brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Mahindra Tractors, get the best 7-year warranty in Texas. And by Albertsons, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, your hosts, Jeff Cavanaugh and Brad Sham.
We give you the opportunity to visit with and meet Cowboys players as the human beings they are. And ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest tonight is one of the greatest Cowboys ever to wear the uniform, number 82, Jason Witten. Jason, nice to have you here.
Oh, hey, Brad, yes. I'm excited to be here. I will be going to the Hall of Fame. I don't know if you knew that. And so I'm just excited about being awesome at football. And
how much are tickets? How much they charge you for tickets to go to the Hall of Fame?
Mine's going to be free because I'm Jason Witten. So mine's going to be free.
Okay.
I'm just going to get to walk in. Hey!
But you know what? You know who's really Jason Witten? Right here, this guy.
Oh, that's Jason Witten.
This is really Jason Witten. How about that? That sounds pretty good. Nobody's been chanted for before. Hi, Whit.
I'm doing. How you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
It is the Players' Day off. It was a day that either ended very late or started very early, depending on your point of view. And so we very much appreciate your taking time. Don't know that you even had to leave the house today, but thanks for doing that.
Yeah, no, my pleasure to be on the show and see all the great fans. And haven't been much sleep today. After getting home so late, and then kind of just the emotion of that game. I've not quite experienced something like that in a long time.
I'm so glad you brought that up right away, because my initial reaction when the game ended, sitting there before we even left the booth, was, what the hell just happened? What did you win the game? Did we lose what happened just now? And so what were you were there on the sideline, actually, of course, when the ball was fumbled and the defense was out. So what were you thinking as that last half of the fourth quarter unfolded?
Well, really, there's so much emotion. Kind of moving back a little bit. We had a third down play before the 4th and 1, and the no card gets brought out to do the measurement. But prior to that...
No, not prior to that. Stop there for a minute, since you brought it up.
Okay.
Please stop.
What did you think when you saw that?
Gene, you owe us one, babe. Come on, Gene. Come on, Gene. Come on, Gene. That's
You
the
were still thinking about Green Bay.
Well, I had heard that this is his first game since then.
Right.
So he's actually, I've known him for quite some time, just over the years, and him being a referee and first-class ref, being a captain for many years, you get a good relationship with those guys. And so I just thought in that moment, as it's all kind of taking place, I remember the side judge telling me, hey, get back. And I just said, okay, as I stayed right.
Right, yes.
That was a big play.
Yeah.
And, I didn't think it was a great spot at the time, just from my eye, just looking at it. But I also knew my experience just watching is those challenges just become difficult because it's just so many big guys and you don't know exactly where that ball is spotted. So I knew we needed to get it off of his call. So I remember just saying, come on, Gene, help us. I don't even know exactly what I said, but come on, Gene, that's a first down. I'm sure that's what I was echoing. And so.
But then he pulls out the card.
I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't. And just kind of thought to myself, I looked around like, what's happening right now? So, but if you saw the card, it was initially like kind of tilted. So I'm like, straighten it up, Gene. I just went right along with it, like I knew he was going to break the card out, And anyways, called the first down. He had a little bit of a smirk on his face, and that was a big play. But prior to that was a third down.
Thank you.
And it was in. We had this kind of 1-by-3 set. I was in single receivers, Cole and Terrence and Dez on the other side, and they broke us down. And they didn't pressure a whole lot, and Pagano's only been there 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks, their defense coordinator, and they blitzed us. So they blitzed one more than we had to protect. So I had to cut my route off short, and I just remember thinking, try to get this first down at that point, because ideally we didn't know they were going to pressure that. We hadn't seen that on tape in any of their cut-ups. And so it got close. Obviously, they challenged it, and then the 4th and 1, and that whole situation. And then the emotion of getting to that final drive, it really felt like we should have put it in offensively to give ourselves a 7-point lead. And we couldn't. And, then now you're sitting there with the emotion of the Anthony Brown play and the interception to the pass interference and that entire drive. But, it was just unbelievable play by Heath. And we've been on the other end of those a few times the last few years. And so it's good to get one that goes your way and to be in the hunt 8-6.
Now, I know, we all know what you guys pour into every game. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, I mean, everything you've got goes into a game. So it's difficult to for someone who's not playing in it to feel. I sat there and looked at that and I thought, I'm not sure that they deserve to win this game, but they didn't deserve to lose it either. So have you ever, I'm not saying last night was one, but have you ever been in a game that you won? Could be high school, I don't care. You ever been in a game that you won that when it was over you thought, if I had to give that one back, I couldn't really argue with them?
Yeah, I feel like that's happened a few times. But I've also been on the other end where you feel like you won it and you end up losing, and they don't give those back to you.
Seattle?
Seattle in 06, and, Green Bay in 14 last year here at our place in Green Bay playoff game. But I also think that's our league. Prior to that game earlier, New England's playing Pittsburgh, and that situation, is it a catch? Is it a touchdown? What is it? The Raiders had a game similar to that playing against Kansas City earlier in the year. And so our game, the margin is so tight, and that's why when you have a chance to score there and make it a 7-point game, you need to capitalize because you realize, it's so tough to be able to get an advantage. But at the end of it, that Heath play to me, and I was pretty emotional.
Are you talking about the one he broke up before the one where he hit Carr? Are you talking about the one?
No, I was talking about the Carr play. He had a couple of them. But, the emotions of a veteran player to say, hey, this is still alive, and to get on that plane and now going in the final 2 weeks, and certainly there's still a lot of things that need to play out, but to have a chance, I mean, there's so much emotion, and Heath's play, the effort and heart that he gave on that was great for us to have a chance.
What are the moments, because the Jeff Heath play, obviously, by the time you've seen a replay and you know that it's going to go your way, the game is over. What about the moments before that? Like the play happens in real time, and they've called it that it's a touchback, but it's going to be reviewed. You haven't seen it yet. What are those 30 seconds like?
Well, I mean, once they got the pass interference, that put them in field goal range. So the emotion of an interception, I thought the next play there was a push-off on Sean Lee. You're trying to get on the ref about that one, and now they get the PI. They're in field goal range, and now you're looking at it and saying, man, we just need this game to get to overtime. And I remember seeing it, and I really wasn't sure if he scored. I know they called it a touchback, and I just kept saying, I was asking everybody, and what do you think? What do you think? Just looking at it, and
and it was on the other side of the field. Nobody knows.
Nobody knew.
None of you
Nobody
knew.
knew.
We're all guessing.
Yeah. You're just kind of looking at Jeff, Jeff, yeah?
Yeah, well, I remember I went over to Coach Eberflus, and I was pretty pumped up, and I think he was talking to somebody that was upstairs on the headset, and they felt confident that it was a touchback, and so I was going with it. I was pretty excited at that point.
Now the Anthony Brown play, I had to talk about this a little bit today. Are you going to coach him up? Hey, listen, if the ball's thrown to you, here's how we catch it. We're going to use our hands.
I already talked to him about it. Okay. I already talked to him about it. He went for the cradle instead of the catch, and he's had some big plays. I mean, what he's done is in his second year, and he's continued to handle the situations like a complete pro. And he made a big play a couple weeks ago. But those are game-defying, really season-defining opportunities, and you can do that. You can finish an opponent off. I mean, that changes the I guess just the way the whole season can go in situations like that. And so,
did you tell him all of that?
No, I just at that point, it's easy to laugh when you're celebrating the win, and talking about the emotions of if that play happens, that's a game changer. So he'll learn from it, and it's good to get away with the win, regardless of how you get it and if it was earned or not. And
I didn't say it wasn't earned. You earned it.
Well, I know what you're saying, though. But either way, to have an opportunity with 2 weeks left to be in the hunt, it's remarkable. So it shows a lot about our team. But I think we need to be clear. There's areas we can clean up and need to clean up. We need to play better football. these next 2 weeks.
Are you going to be locked in tonight? Do you do the we don't worry about things we can't control, obviously, but if Tampa Bay were to win tonight.
It'd be great for Tampa to win, yeah. So I'll make sure to, watch it and keep an eye on it. But, other than calling down and giving Jameis Winston a pep talk or something, I don't know what else I can do, So, that's part of it. And, look, you get to this situation in the part of the season that you just got to play it out and see what happens. But I know this. It's certainly better to be on this show at this point, knowing that you're still in the hunt than talking about next year.
It would have been a lot less fun if Derek Carr didn't let go of that ball.
If Jeff Heath didn't crush his spine and make him.
Well, not the spine. Let's not do that to a spine.
No, but his spine then regenerated, and he got up and walked up. In fact, he led the prayer, didn't he?
He did.
Which was great.
Yeah, he's a remarkable player and got a bright future ahead of him. Those plays happen so fast. I've actually been on the other end of that. In 2007, we played Detroit, had a chance to win the division, and I foolishly reached the ball across the goal line to have a fumble. And, man, that's a lonely feeling when that happens. And certainly for him and what he's done for that city and that franchise, I know what he's gone through because I've experienced it myself. And it's just, you're just trying to make a play, and it's happening so fast. It's easy to say, hey, just go down on the 1 yard line and we'll call timeout and have a few more ops at it. But, lots happen in those situations.
So I know we're going to be a little late here, but I feel like you got to follow up on that one because, it goes all the way back to Calvin Johnson had one, Dez had one, Jesse James had one this week for the Steelers. Can you practice that? Can you work on that? Hey, guys, if we're ever that close and there's any question about going to the ground or leaning, like we can't risk it. Is there any way to practice that? Because I feel like in the moment it'd be impossible to turn it off.
Well, I think it's got to be in, they say like it's 10,000 hours to become like a master of craft and all this stuff. I just think I want to prepare myself and everything that I do so that it becomes instinct when I'm out there on the field. So I can catch and tuck so quickly because I've done it so many times and then work at it over and over and over again. And yeah, I'd love for a coach to say, hey, alert this guy on this play, he's going to stem inside and don't get beat up on an up and under move. That doesn't happen, and so I'm sure Del Rio probably said, hey, don't risk it here, be smart, we got a chance to be in field goal range, take it to overtime. But in those moments, it's tough to be in that situation. But I do think you practice it. You talk about ball control in those situations. And, it happens. And ultimately, the guy's trying to make a play to help his team win.
Babe Laufenberg says the chief job of a coach is to coach the instincts out of a player so that he doesn't do things like that.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. And that's what the great coaches do in situations like that. But more importantly, that's what the great players do. And not that Derek's not, because he certainly is. But things happen. It's real. It's real time, and it's easy afterwards to think, oh, just go down. But, that's when some of the best plays happen, is when guys just let their instincts kick in, too. And so there's a fine line there of balancing both of those.
We are just beyond delighted to have one of the greatest of all time, Jason Witten, as our guest tonight on the Cowboys Hour. We are here at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco on the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and brought to you in part by Omni Hotel. Next time you travel for an away game, here's how to make the most of it. Stay with Omni Hotels and Resorts. They have 60 premier locations coast to coast with things like world-class spas, championship golf, and great dining. Visit OmniHotels.com to learn more and turn the next away game into a getaway weekend. Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys. By Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. And by Lucchese Bootmaker, now open at the Star in Frisco. Shop from a variety of world-class handmade cowboy boots, as well as all new signature apparel and accessories. Visit their brand new store today, I say, and experience the tradition that is Lucchese Boots.
Oh, those Lucchese boots.
We'll be right back with Jason Witten on the Cowboys Hour.
Daddy?
Bourbon carefully.
To the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from the Omni Frisco at the Star.
Welcome back. It is the Cowboy Hour. We're at the Omni Frisco, actually in the Ford Center at the Star today. I'm Jeff Cavanaugh alongside Brad Sham and an all-time great, one of the greatest Cowboys of all time, number 82, Jason Witten, who has quite a cheering section here, including international sporting teams.
Yeah,
we have a
football team from, and not football, an American football team, right? A football team from where are you from in Mexico?
Mexico City.
From Mexico City. And what's the name of your team? Procam. There you go. They came to see you. How about that? An entire team came to see you. Of course, you got that at home every morning when you get up for breakfast, right?
What's up, guys? How you doing? A lot of future great football players then back there in the crowd.
It's international superstar Jason Witten with us.
So how long does it take you to normally move on to the next game? And will this one stay with you longer?
Well, I made that plane ride home a lot better with this game, but the next day I get in there and watch the tape. And I think
you were in here today watching
I think it's
tape.
important to evaluate that game and to see it and to be able to learn from it. Because the best thing we can do is the game tape. Those 65 plays that all the work we do in the week is to prepare for that. And so watch that tape and see the areas that you can get better at. And just get some new ideas on what happened, like how they try to attack us, and really watch it and unpack it. And then, now tonight I'll move on to my preparation for Seattle. Start watching those games before we get together, reconvene.
We've had parts of this conversation before, but of those 65 plays last night, since you watched them again today, how many of them did you get the honor of blocking Khalil Mack?
Well, there was quite a few of them. I felt like I did a pretty good job. There was one there, though, on that sack that I needed to be better on it. We early in the game, we were on him as an end. He was kind of going with the tight end. And so, I really liked the matchup. I thought we did a good job on him, and he's a heck of a football player. He's big, he's strong, he's explosive, he's crafty, good with his hands, he's a good rusher. I don't know if they talked much about it or if you guys saw it, but he and Lael had a nice little battle going, and there was some talking and chirping. And,
there was.
And I learned about LC is this early in the season, because I'm used to Doug Free for the last 10 years.
Who
Doug
says nothing.
He wouldn't say a word. And LC would kind of chirp. And my experience is a lot of times when guys do that, it gets them out of their game. And so I'm constantly, hey, don't worry, don't play that game, and don't start doing that. With LC, there's a little bit of inner confidence that comes with the trash talking. And so it was a good battle. LC won a bunch of them, and Mac had some nice rushes. We had that one there where I kind of had him outside, and I thought I had it protected pretty decent against a good rusher, but he kind of shortened the corner there on the end. So, a lot. That's one of those plays.
I won't ask you about the rest of it because I know what the rest of it was, and I'm not going to ask you.
What's the rest of it?
Well, it involved somebody else who might have made a different choice to help it, but it doesn't matter now.
It's all good. So, but then we come back that next couple plays later, we run the fake punt. Now we get the ball back at the 50 again, and we run the flea flicker, and he's the end on the play. And I'm like, oh, boy, he's getting some confidence going. Here he goes. He's got a second sack. And this is a long play here on this flea flicker. And so I was fortunate to kind of get him in the run and thought we had a chance. It was a great call by Linehan, I felt like, to try to take a shot once the tides turned for us. And anyways, that was big possession for us to be able to have that fake punt and then carry over. But he's a good player, and every week it's a tough challenge, but he's certainly one of those that you look at and say, man, his future's bright. I don't know how he ended up, no offense to Buffalo, the University of Buffalo, but the guy is a phenomenal talent, and he understands the game. That's one of the things I look for, is how they attack it. Is it just pure talent, or does they have a skill set of they're setting up for the next move, their next rush? And he's one of those guys that has those abilities. You brought up there's so many more. Every time we talk about a part of the game, more things come up. So the fake punt, you're not on the punt team, but the fake punt. Now you're standing over there on the sideline, and it's 4th and 11 at your 24, and to the extent you can with children present, repeat what thoughts and words went through your head when you saw Chris Jones start running.
Man. I think we're like
we've only ran like 3 or 4 of them in the last few
15 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we're 4 for 4 on these fake punts. I'm serious. We're literally, every time we do it, we get it. And when I saw it happen, I was just thinking, kudos to coach to make that decision at that point, because
there was no part of you that said, Chris, what are you doing, dude? It's our own 24.
No, by the time I realized what had happened, I see him in open space.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he kind of played it off a little bit. Like he always does this 1-2, like he's going to kick it, and then he goes, So that was a huge play for us in that moment. And, I don't know that anybody knew. I'm being honest, other than the guys on the punt team and of course, the coaches. Because I think it's just we get this look, we're doing this, And I'll say this about this season. Our special teams, their ability to get turnovers, they're punting the ball. Our specialists are the best in the ball, but they've really impacted the game positively for us this season with turnovers, return punts, punting the ball, changing field position for us. I think has been huge for us and certainly was last night.
Now, we follow the fake punt immediately with a flea flicker, and I'm really not sure you've run a flea flicker in your 15 years.
Oh, man.
So when you heard that call come out of Dak's mouth, did you think those people over there have lost their minds?
No, I didn't think. I actually really liked the aggressiveness. Coming off that play immediately, we're on the really good field position. Let's take a shot here. We had a chance at it, and so I thought the entire game, just the call to go for it on the 4th and 1 that we've talked about with the no card, the fake punt, different times throughout the game. I really felt like you could see our football team kind of the belief in the men, and in your 15th year, that's what you like to see.
And this team it feels like you guys are incredibly young. A lot of the guys who are making contributions, starters.
Yeah.
How much different has that been for you over the course of the year? You're probably used to having a lot of veterans around you. Certainly you're used to having a veteran quarterback for a long time. So much youth. What more falls on your shoulders?
Well, I think the youth comes with, there's an excitement, right? Because they bring these traits that you look at and you go, man, I can see something here. And so with that, I think you appreciate the development of these guys. You see them kind of take a step and you're like, all right, they've had a little success. Now how are they going to do next week? And you remind them, and they want to learn, they want to hear it. Sometimes you got to give them a little tough love and it's you got to speak their language, and so that part of it you have to evolve as a leader to understand, like, hey, it's different than it was 15 years ago for me, where it's just literally like, I'm going to get exposed in this team meeting as a rookie. And Brad, I did get exposed quite a few times early on. But for these guys, the hopes and dreams of everybody in this organization, certainly in veteran players like myself, really it lies in their hands in a lot of situations. And so, a lot of expectations with being a pro football player for this organization. So I try to be a leader, encourage them, let them know that they've earned this opportunity, what's expected of them. And only way I know to do that is by your work during the week. You got to be edgy. You got to, if it's not right, you got to demand it. And so, sometimes people say, well, yeah, you were a little bit of a jerk when you went about it, Well, it's so that when you get to Sunday, you can cut loose, and that's the way you got to play. And those guys that stepped up, and I think with that, it's created a little bit of energy. They've made me feel young. They've made a lot of the veterans feel like you can enjoy it because it puts a smile on your face when you see these guys. I think the common denominator is, do they love football, and are they on this journey to continue to improve? Because if you're not going to last long. Have a couple cups of coffee and you'll be out of the league. But these guys do love football. They have a drive to continue to get better. And that's motivating to me to see them have the success that they're having.
So they make you feel young? You got about a half decade left?
No, certainly not that. I don't know. I was telling Brad a while back, I feel too good to say it's time to quit. I feel like when guys get asked that all the time, and there's a lot of talk of that now. I feel like you guys would probably agree, how long guys are going to play.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it's like, Brady's talking about he's going to play till he's 45.
Because he talks about it every day.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Every day.
Okay. Yeah, well, these old guys are talking about how long they're going to play. And I'm always cautious to, reference like, oh, how much longer am I going to go, because nobody knows how long they're going to go. When they can't play at that level anymore, then it's time for them to stop, and whether they want to make that decision or the organization's going to make that decision, everybody's got a shelf life in this league. But as I said, I don't really know about the avocado salad and all that kind of stuff. What I do know is I know what my expectations are for myself. And the older I've gotten, the more pressure I've put on myself to play at that level. And so I feel too good to think that, I would walk away. And at that point, it's just taking it year by year, and are you enjoying it? And do you still get that feeling of, what's driving you to play at that level? And so that burn inside of me is at a rate right now than higher than it's ever been in my career. And so for that, I enjoy it. And I know my role within this offense and what's asked of me. But a big part of that, if I'm being honest, is the guys that you go do it with. And there's a lot of guys in that locker room that I really enjoy, and as they go on their journey, being a part of it.
Yeah, I'm going to invoke my veteran status to say this to you in public, on the radio, on the interwebs, because this will be streamed on DallasCowboys.com. It is right now, and for everyone to hear, because it's something I would say to you if we were by ourselves. We all just heard the passion in your voice for the team, for the game, the individual, not for the sport, for the individual games, for the preparation, for the doing of it, for the playing of it, for feeling the highs and feeling the lows. You will never get that anywhere else. And as long as you're performing at that, look, he knows that I'm speaking out of vested interest. I don't want to ever see him stop. I just love watching him play too much. But as long as you are playing at that level, and you are, as long as you feel that passion, you cannot walk away from that passion, because you'll never get it anywhere else.
Yeah, no question. And I saw the great Charles Barkley a while back, and he said that. He said, hey, you have a lot of opportunities, but you just know there's nothing like playing, man. And it's echoing that same message. And I know that, and that's why I love doing it and the investment that I make. And so, I'm excited for tomorrow and what lies ahead in these next few weeks, and then even beyond that, because I feel too good to think that I wouldn't keep playing.
And by the way, it doesn't mean I'm not going to make that speech to you again in private sometime.
I worry Brad's going to leave as soon as you do. Sounds like there's a big...
Have you ever heard this story?
No.
You got to tell the story.
Yeah, I'll tell it right now.
We'll tease the story.
Okay, we'll tease the story, because this is a story worth hearing.
We have an incredible story with Jason Witten, Dallas Cowboys, here on the Cowboy Hour coming up next. We're brought to you in part by Jack Black Skincare. Say goodbye to painful razor burn and bumps when you upgrade your shave with Jack Black's pain-free shave system. Now $10 off your order of $50 or more when you visit getjackblack.com/Cowboys. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. And by Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries at Albertsons and Tom Thumb every Dallas Cowboy game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. And enter for a chance to win tickets to the next Cowboys home game, courtesy of Albertsons, the official supermarket of the Dallas Cowboys. Back with whatever incredible story this is about Brad and Jason Witten next.
What does it mean to be a Dallas Cowboys fan? It means you've got the passion and the heart to do your part supporting the boys no matter what. That's why when the game's on the line, you're on your feet, whether you're at home or in the stands. Actually, you're more than a fan. You are a member of Cowboys Nation, and so is AT&T, doing their part to keep you connected to America's team all season long. AT&T is a proud member of Cowboys Nation.
From countless practices to hours of film sessions, the Cowboys do it all with one goal in mind: victory. At Maker's Mark, they have one goal in mind too: deliciousness. So they carefully craft their bourbon from red winter wheat and pure limestone spring water, and then age it to taste, not time, so that it's consistently full-flavored, yet remarkably easy to drink. Hard work really does pay off. Maker's Mark, delicious is everything. They make their bourbon carefully. Please enjoy it that way.
Santa ya llegó a The Star en Frisco para el arranque oficial de la celebración decembrina. Haga su cita para la foto familiar con Santa dentro de la cabaña Dallas Cowboys, localizada en The Fans United in The Star. Santa se tomará fotos hasta el 24 de diciembre. Cada niño en la foto recibirá un regalo exclusivo Dallas Cowboys del mismo Santa. Visite thestarinfrisco.com para los detalles y para concertar la cita. Es de tiempo limitado, así que haga su cita hoy mismo.
At WinStar, we love the Dallas Cowboys because they are the world's biggest football team. And at WinStar, we love Dallas Cowboys fans because they're the world's biggest fans. And when the world's biggest fans of the world's biggest football team come to WinStar, they always feel right at home. Why? Because we're the world's biggest too. WinStar, from one world's biggest to another.
Partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from the Omni Frisco at the Star.
Welcome back. This is the Cowboy Hour. It's our regular Monday night stop with the great Jason Witten, Brad Sham, Jeff Cavanaugh, a cast of literally hundreds watching us at the Ford Center at the Star tonight so we could come inside from the cold. What a grand idea that everybody had to do that. Thank you all. And thank you all for being here. Next week, of course, Monday will be Christmas. So we won't do a show on Christmas. We'll do next week's show on Tuesday evening. Possibly right here, right back here on this very stage. So speaking of Christmas, I do not have a mental picture for a variety of reasons, not limited to time and schedule, of Jason Witten walking up and down the aisles of Macy's trying to pick something out for Michelle or for the kids. So who does your Christmas shopping?
Well, that's a great question, Brad. I need to get on that.
Have you heard about this online thing they have?
Yeah, I am a big online guy, and
You got plenty of time.
Yeah, here's the thing though that kind of gets me in a tough spot. My wife's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Michelle!
Yeah,
I wish I'd known that.
So I got the birthday the week before, so it's a double whammy. I've tried combining the two.
No, that doesn't work.
It doesn't go over very well.
No.
So
how many years ago did you make that mistake?
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah, good. Okay, yeah.
So,
that's one of those that you only do once,
that's right?
Yeah,
that's
okay.
right. Or 5, but yeah.
Now, we need to go backwards because I don't know what the topic was, but there was a story that was about to happen.
I wasn't forgetting.
And we had to go to break.
Do you want to try to tell it first, and then I'll come in and tell what really happened?
Yeah, I'll give you guys the quick version and let Brad come in. But I'm a rookie, and we're on the plane ride, and I'm green as can be, and we're something happens where we're kind of going up, and so I've gotten to know Brad a little bit, not real well, but of course, he's the voice of the Cowboys and the whole bit, and so he's in the aisle, and I think they had made a comment about like setting down or something, get to your seats. And so I just, in a jokingly way, kind of said, "Hey, Brad, they said get to your seats. You need to sit down," like that. And he didn't like it that I kind of said that, and I felt like I was joking. I said it in a joking way, but I was a rookie, and he's the great Brad Sham and the whole deal. And he looks over. And
this is why I have to come clean it up. Go ahead.
He looks over, kind of looking down on me a little bit, and he goes, just very matter of fact, looks at me. He goes, "Hey, big fella," he goes, "I was here way before you were here, and I'll be here long after you're gone." So I think I'll stand in the aisle as long as I want to, and I'll go sit down when I feel necessary. Something along those lines. So I'm like, all right, Brad, I kind of like your confidence, but it's nothing like being on a road trip and the voice of the Cowboys just completely just destroys you in front of your teammates. And he did, and so he's right. Here I am wrapping up a career, and
You're not wrapping anything up.
He's just hitting the prime right now.
I'll tell you when you're wrapping it up. That most of that was pretty close. We were on the ground still because I knew the rule that you weren't supposed to be walking around. And we try to stay out of the players' area unless there's some particular reason to be there. And Jason and that kid quarterback that he came in with were sitting in the 2 seats on that side, and things were going pretty well, and Parcells loves him, and he's the big star tight end, and Romo's nobody at that point. I mean, he's a third string quarterback who just barely made the team, but they're buddies, and so we're feeling good, and we're getting ready to take off for the road trip. I have to go back to the other side to the back of the plane to ask Dat Wynn, A specific question. Great linebacker who played for the Cowboys after a terrific career at Texas A&M.
Just went in the College Football Hall of Fame?
Just went in the College Football Hall of Fame and the Texas Sports Hall of Fame a few years ago. You'll be probably in both of those. So I'm walking back, and he's feeling great. He's Jason Witten. His budding career is beginning, and it's wonderful. He said, "Hey, don't you think you have to sit down?" And I knew he was kidding. And I did sell it a little bit, but I was kind of kidding on the square, and I stopped, and I turned and looked at him, and I said, "Let me tell you something, young fella. I was here a long time before you got here, and I think there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to be here a long time after you're gone. So I think I'll just go anywhere on this effing plane I feel like."
Oh! That's exactly what he said.
Right?
That's exactly what he said to me.
And we had a good laugh, and we have laughed about it 100 times since. And P.S., about 5 years ago, I went up to him in the locker room at Valley Ranch, and I said, "Remember that?" "Oh, yeah, we had a good laugh." And I said, "I was wrong, because you're going to be in the Ring of Honor. And you're going to be here as long as the stadium is here, and that'll be long after I'm gone." So that gets me to this question. I really believe, I've said this, I've written it, if you make a Mount Rushmore of the history of the Dallas Cowboys, and just even say players, because then you have Landry and Sham and the Jones family, and just say players. So if Mount Rushmore means you can only have 4. And for me, I'm not sure who the 4 are, but if you have a Mount Rushmore of all the Dallas Cowboys players, you're on it. You're on it. You'd have been a star in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, whatever. And it's so much not what you're about, and yet I know that it's something that's gratifying to you because when people say that, it's a recognition of all the work that you do and the teammate that you are and all that stuff. Hall of Fame talk. Jeff mentioned it at the very beginning. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame. It'll take a little longer than people want because tight ends don't get into the Hall of Fame, but he'll be there long after I'm gone. How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm humbled by it. It's an honor. You never play for those reasons, but ultimately you're driven to go be the best. And I learned really quickly, Brad, when I got here, just as I went through it, and I kind of learned the hard way, but I kind of got that first catch, and I go, man, I can play in this league. And every step of the way, I just kind of reset it and said, all right, I can be better. Here's what I need to do. Here's what I need to do. And, I've often said this, but when my car pulls into that parking lot, there's this feeling in my stomach every single day, that this feeling of like, I got to go perform. I got to go earn it. I got to go lead the group. I got to show them how to do it, and I don't know if that's because I'm after this championship and bringing it back to the Jones family and the great fans here in Dallas, really across the country, but it's just this drive inside of me, and that'll be hard when it's over for me because I know how much work that I put in to try to get that chance, at that. And so to be mentioned with some of these great players in the Cowboys organization who then are also some of the best to ever play in the league history, I'm just honored because I know what type of players they were. I know how talented they are. I know how hard they worked. I know what they achieved individually and collectively. And I know what type of people they are, and so when you get mentioned with a Roger Staubach or Troy Aikman or any of these type of guys, Emmitt Smith, you're certainly quick to recognize, man, gosh, those are great football players you're being mentioned with. And so I want to join them in being a champion just because that's what we're all defined by. But, man, I'm honored to be able to have been on this journey this way. And the people that have helped me get there, the great teammates that have pushed me and coaches. And so it's not done, so I don't want to act like that because, tomorrow I'll just be thinking about, hey, what's this 6-inch step that I'm taking to make this block? But, to be able to play 15 years in this organization with the people that have been around and the great fans, it's like been a dream come true.
When we come back, I would like very much to hear him talk about how he got to the point he's now such a a fluent spokesman for Albertsons, because I remember when he tried to do Dairy Max commercials as a rookie and he couldn't read a sentence practically.
So grocery talk. Next.
And also the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year Award. Another thing you didn't come into it to do was get a citizenship award named after you, but here you are.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that when we come back. On the Cowboys Hour, we are at the Ford Center at the Star tonight with Jeff Cavanaugh and the great Jason Witten, and we're brought to you in part by Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza, and by Omni Hotel. Next time you travel for an away game, here's how to make the most of it. Stay with Omni Hotels, and you know what? You read this. You're so good at that. Just read that top paragraph right now.
You got it.
He can do this now.
Oh, listen, you put me on the spot.
I did.
Omni Hotel. Next time you travel for an away game, here's how to make the most of it. Stay with Omni Hotels and Resorts. They have 60 premier locations coast to coast with things like world-class spas, championship golf, and great dining. Visit OmniHotels.com to learn more and turn the next away game into a getaway weekend. Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys.
We'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
When your team scores a touchdown,
Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from the Omni Frisco at the Star.
All right, welcome back. It is the Cowboys Hour radio show. I'm Jeff Cavanaugh alongside the voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham, and future Hall of Famer Jason Witten, number 82. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This one has flown by. I feel like there's so much we got to do, so we're going to have to talk fast. We will get to some questions from the audience. I got to tell you also that we're brought to you in part by Jack Black Skincare. Say goodbye to painful razor burn and bumps when you upgrade your shave with Jack Black's pain-free shave system. Now $10 off your order of $50 or more when you visit getjackblack.com/cowboys. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. Also by Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries at Albertsons and Tom Thumb every Dallas Cowboy game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey and enter for a chance to win tickets to the next Cowboys home game courtesy of Albertsons, the official supermarket of the Dallas Cowboys. And finally,
yes,
we're brought to you by Luke Casey Bootmaker. It's now open at the Star in Frisco.
Really?
Shop from a variety of world-class handmade cowboy boots, as well as all new signature apparel and accessories. Visit their brand new store today and experience the tradition that is.
That is what?
Luke Casey Bootmaker. All right. Anytime.
True pros right there. Look at the pros.
Professionals. That's what we do.
Don't try this at home.
Anytime we get the opportunity to talk to somebody who, what are you, about 14 years into this thing? Is that 15, about right? 15 years into this thing? That's played at your level. It's just the barroom conversation or the coffee shop conversation, whatever you prefer, that everybody grows up having. You talk about who's the greatest this, who's the greatest that. And playing tight end, you block pass rushers. You go against linebackers and guys in the secondary. Who are the guys over these 15 years that on field ability you respect the most, the best you've seen, the best you've gone against? And who are the guys in the league that the person that you respect the most?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's evolved over time. I'm just going to throw out some names and give you a reason why on each of those guys. My childhood hero was a guy by the name of Junior Seau. Was number 55 in high school, played middle linebacker. And I caught him on the end of his career. He was with the Dolphins. We played him on Thanksgiving my rookie year. And I remember I caught a little option route. It's kind of the play I'm known for, a little 8 to 10 yard hook route. And I kind of got hit in the back, cheap shot. And I remember getting up, like throwing the ball down, like, who cheap shot me? And throw a flag and the whole deal. And it's Junior Seau, my idol, and he's like talking trash and got a 15-yarder on me. So he was always just the first guy that I was kind of like, man, that's my idol that I saw on the field and played against. Ray Lewis was big, strong, physical, tough, smart, great instincts. Just one of those linebackers that could do all the things, early in my career when I went against him, that I thought was a game changer as far as his ability to get sideline to sideline. He could do it all. And he knew he could do it all. And wasn't afraid to tell you he could do it all. On the back end, I thought Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed were really the first game changers of my generation. I know Steve Atwater and Ronnie Lott and some different guys. But, Troy would be responsible for the deep third, cover 3. And you'd see him, like, catching, a hook route, like, on the other side of the field. He just had full ability to roam wherever he wanted to go. He'd jump over the pile on short yardage. He'd time it up. The guy just had unbelievable instincts on the back end that I thought was game-changing. And, pass rushers and defensive linemen, I just go to Strahan. Strahan was so strong. And then in 04, I believe it was, 05, he loses 20 pounds and comes back, and he's even better than he was prior to that, and he was big and strong. And quick story on him, I kind of had this deal with Strahan. He hated to get cut block, and he never wanted anybody on his knees. I caught him at the latter part of his career. And so as long as you didn't cut him, he kind of wouldn't go full speed on a lot of plays. In third down, he would turn it on, and the whole deal. And hey, Stray, you're a son of a gun over there, man. Just take it easy, And you could kind of convince him to, and he wouldn't necessarily play hard. And now third down, he would turn it up in some different times. And so I had this little deal with him. I was like, man, Witten blocked Strahan unbelievably well, and I didn't have the ability to tell the coach just. Man, he's kind of taking it easy out there. But one game, Mark Colombo, who's now a coach for the Cowboys, he came in, and Mark's this big, tough, shaved, bald head, rock and roll, heavy metal, mean. And he came in to replace the other guy that was in on a rotation. And we had this little sprint out play. And everything's good, just kind of keeping him at the line of scrimmage. We got everything under control. And Colombo decides to take Strahan and push him all the way out of bounds and shoves him outside the white of the sideline, and he just gets that finger. I mean, he was pissed that happened,
Strahan was.
Oh, yeah, and for the rest of the game, it was all out. And I remember coming back to the huddle, and I'm like, Colombo, what are you doing, man? Don't you know the deal we got with Strahan? Don't cut him, don't cheap shot him, and we're fine, But he was one of those pass rushers that, and he could do it both, run game and pass game. So, but in today's game, right now, there's a lot of guys that I respect. I think Malcolm Jenkins is a good safety. He plays well. I think Luke Kuechly is a smart linebacker and understands it well. But, I think at defense, I got the best player, my middle linebacker, the General Sean Lee. I mean, the guy's just unbelievable player, person, teammate, leader. Being able to play with him and to kind of early on see his career and what he's overcome, the injuries and how he's done it. And so he's the first. He hates hearing his name. He runs from accolades and when people acknowledge him that way. But the guy's a remarkable player.
Let's talk about the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year.
Yeah, I was excited when they brought that to me. You never know what that's going to consist of and what that means. And just honored and thrilled just because I knew what the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award is about and the men that are on that list over the last 25 years.
Including you.
Yeah, and so it's essentially what we're looking for, now to have my name on that and great resources. It'll be February 22nd here at the Star, and we'll bring the 3 finalists in. So got some great players that are coming in. Griffin from Central Florida, Mason Rudolph from Oklahoma State, and Fitzgerald, the corner out of Alabama. And so just to recognize those guys at a young age, understand, they want to be great players, but they can also be great leaders and involvement in the community. At a pivotal time in their life, and 18 to 22 years old. So I'm excited to honor those guys. It should be a fun night.
Jeff's right. The hour has flown. We've got literally 1 minute. Amanda, can we get one fast question?
All right, we got Sarah here. Jason, what's your favorite home-cooked meal?
Perfect. Oh, that's a great question. Love home-cooked meals. My wife's got a couple that have now made the list, couple. That we rotate a little bit. But, my grandma used to cook every night for us, and it was Southern food. So I'm a steak and potatoes kind of guy. And so it was a little Southern fried steak and mashed potatoes and gravy and the whole bit. So any home-cooked meal I'm not going to turn down, but Southern-style food, steak and potatoes would be great.
I definitely heard him say he's going to be back next year. Didn't you hear him say that?
Absolutely. I said that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. There's only one of them. The great Jason Witten, Jeff Cavanaugh, and I will be back next week on Tuesday night. Merry Christmas, everybody. And thank you to Jason Witten.
Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks, guys.
Know what I'm doing right now? Smelling the slow cooker full of chili I've had simmering all